Hey, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's Sigma Street Talk. Okay, a woman said something to me. That was one of my neighbors. When I got back from my walk, and I'm doing right now, yesterday I got back from the walk, and one of my neighbors was coming outside. She's probably a little older than me. And she goes to me, Daryl, aren't you afraid walking around, this time, this early morning in the dark by yourself? And, granted, I was kind of a wise ass. I said, they should be scared of me. But besides that, I thought of, how I handle problems out here. There's been a few times where people have approached me aggressively. So I want to share these with you. Okay, I'm hesitant to give any advice on this because here's the thing. I have certain factors that are working for me that other people might not have. Number one is I'm a recovering addict. I kind of have a pass on the streets. I still, I'm comfortable on the street. And, if people can sense, that I'm a recovering addict. I've had people say that to me before. I've had people on the street, I know right away. And another thing is, if you're a recovering addict, chances are you don't have a whole lot of money. You don't have a Rolex. So I found it really is a pass on the streets. The other thing is I'm tall. I'm a big guy. And, I'm hesitant to admit it, but it definitely works in my favor. Those things aside, here's the number one piece of advice I would give somebody. I hate to say this because it sounds corny, but have your head on a swivel. If you could identify trouble before it identifies you, then that's the best thing you can do. If you could spot predators before you're painted as a target, then that's a win right there. Look long range. If you see people congregating, if you see somebody talking to themselves, walking down the street aggressively, look around and keep an eye out. And if you spot something, be very casual about it. Don't immediately turn in a different direction. But as easily and nonchalantly as possible, just kind of blend in with the scenery. That's my best piece of advice. Number two, like I said, I'm hesitant to even give people this advice because it works for me, but I don't want to give advice that's bad. If I am painted as a target, somebody starts approaching me, talking aggressively, like, hey, you, swearing, cursing, whatever. Hey, you. One of the lines I've heard a lot of times, if somebody's going to mug somebody, they're like, hey, you got a cigarette? Hey, you got a second? You got the time? You know where the bus stop is? It's a nondescript question that somebody will ask you to get close to you. That right there is an indication that you've been targeted. In my opinion, the best thing to do at that point is to approach them aggressively. With an aggressive look in your eye, I usually don't say anything. And I just walk straight towards the person. And this sounds corny, but I'll be like, what'd you say to me? Or, what the fuck did you say to me? I know it sounds corny, but it's worked for me before. There's always a little voice that's telling you, run away, avoid this, ignore it, apologize to this person. I'm sorry, man, I don't want any trouble. If you do that, it guarantees that you're going to be a victim. That's the worst possible thing that you could do. That's the exact thing that a predator is looking for, is an easy target. Once you do something like that, once you start acting meek, I'm sorry, man, I don't know. I just want to go over here, man. I ain't looking for, you're done. Don't do that. Last piece of advice, and I'm not recommending this for anybody. If you end up getting close to somebody and they're still being aggressive, and you're face to face, I always watch their shoulders, and their eyes. There comes a point, for me, you see that this person, there's going to be a physical altercation. This person's going to take a swing at me. You can see it right in their eyes. And at that point, the best thing to do is strike first. And let me tell you this, like I said, I'm hesitant to tell you guys this, but the best thing that I go for is the kneecap. kick out the kneecaps, break their kneecaps, punch them in the throat, pop their eardrums, eye gouge, and headbutt. And I mean, that's besides for like coming right from your shoulder and driving the fist right, turning on impact right here. And here's the last piece of advice. Once that starts, you don't stop. You know, you don't just swing once. You keep swinging until that person is not moving on the ground. And then get the hell out of there as fast as possible. That's my advice. You know, and it's probably not good advice, but it's the best I got. Have a good Wednesday.